Welcome to another episode of your favorite talk show, Stephen Korean Perspectives. I'm your host, Stephen Alexander.
And I'm your host, Korean Harris.
In today's episode, we have Valenica Hill from Nia Association here to share what their company does to support individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Later in the show, we also have rising Hollywood comedian DJ Pryor here to share his experience as a rising star.
In today's topic, Stephen and I will discuss knowing how and when to say no to peer pressure and knowing how to stand alone when you have no support.
That's right. So you guys are in for something special. You guys stay tuned with us. You're watching SKP. Oh, with that
SKP. Stephen Korean Perspectives. SKP. Stephen Korean Perspectives. Are you ready for this?
We as college students often go through many situations where we feel pressured by our peers to just fit in. Oftentimes we feel we have to stand alone because we are surrounded by people and we don't have any support. So how can we deal with this in situations like that? What do you think?
Well, first you gotta learn how to say no. And no can be so hard to do, especially like if you're so nice, you just don't know how to say no, but you have to mean it. So when you say no, you have to be strong and determined. So you may be like, Korean, you wanna go do drugs? No.
Drugs? Well, you think of me, you think, no.
Just give an example.
But it's true,
But
yeah.
I know you wouldn't ask me, but if someone did, you gotta say no.
No.
You gotta keep moving on or change the subject. So ask me if I wanna do drugs.
Do you wanna do drugs today?
You know, I have a lot of homework to do. Will you be willing to write my paper for me while I work on another assignment? Just change the subject. Or pretend like you didn't hear them at all.
Why would you say it's good to change the subject?
So that way you'll feel like they know that you may not want to do it because it may come off, you may not know how to be as direct. Or you just want to be like, look, I'm not going to entertain what you said. I'm just going to change the subject. Because we even do that when we talking to people. You be like, I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that. So let's talk about something else. Or make an excuse on why you can't go. Now, we're not saying go out there and just lie. We don't want you to be liars, but just, oh, I have this to do. You can always find something to do. I have to go read my book. I'm sorry.
Or my granny's sick, or she cooked something for me today, and I haven't seen her in months, and she wants me to come. That's what I use.
I have to go eat her dinner tonight.
I have to go eat her dinner tonight.
I have to be home to watch, television. I have family time.
Right.
Or suggest a different activity, what you can do. So you may say, do you want to do drugs? And I keep using that example because a lot of people.
Thinking, you must be going through some peer pressure right now because you keep talking about drugs, no, and I don't understand.
That's the main
I really don't.
Thing. That's one of the main things. Like people in our age generation get peer pressure into.
Drugs.
So I'm just gonna say drugs because I can't say what I want. Yeah, sex and alcohol. You got that too.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Or just leave. When it comes to sex, just leave. Just
what you mean? Just leave?
Just grab your bag and just go. Don't feed into it. Just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave.
Okay. Oh, I ain't never heard that one before. Most people stay for that. Just saying. I would say, for me, how and when to say no to peer pressure. Okay, for the when portion, you feel and know when it's not right for you. So when someone says, hey, this will be good for you, it's something different, it's something new, loosen up, you know it's not right for you. So don't do something if you know it's not going to benefit you in the long run in a good way. Because a lot of times, we talk about this often on our show, people want to bring you down in the gutter with them.
And you made a good point about that, because ask yourself, if I do this, what are going to be the consequences later if I do this?
Exactly.
So that's why you always got to ask yourself that.
Yep, that's true. And then another thing with when, you feel like you have to fit in. So if you do something because you feel like you need to fit in with the crowd, 9 times out of 10, that's not the crowd for you. You should always want to stand alone. You want to stand out. You don't want to be in the crowd. You want to stand out from the crowd. At least I do, because that's why I got this shirt on today. You get what I'm saying? You want to stand out. You don't want to be, and when I say that not in a conceited way or in a bad way, I'm saying it in a positive way, because you want people to look at you and be like, okay, this person's bringing something different. He's willing to stand alone when other people are willing to stand together. Exactly. So why is that? You want to find more about that person when they stand alone. And then for how, inform the person, the situation is simply not something you're interested in, like you talked about earlier. I don't have to elaborate on that too much because we already kind of talked about that. And then, or just simply don't react or respond, like you said. So how I feel like you can do both of those. So ask me right now, Stephen, let's go buy some crack.
Stephen, let's go buy some crack.
You know, today is a really good day. It really is. It's beautiful outside. You can do just like that because people, you don't have to entertain that mess.
Exactly.
If they want to go do crack, they say crack is whack. Let them go do the crack. You ain't got to do the crack.
They'll be like, come on, man, it's good for you. You know, you been stressing
I'm
through
like,
school.
no, it's not good for me. And from the looks of your skin, it's not good for you either, so stop, okay? And then another thing I would say is no is a word. Simply say no, because sometimes we say, no.
No, I'm not doing that.
Ask me about crack again.
You want to go do some
No.
crack?
And leave it just like that. You don't have to explain. You don't have to do nothing.
Because you don't owe anyone
You don't
an
owe anyone
explanation for anything.
You don't. So by simply just saying no, you giving yourself the okay to just do what you got to do.
You're preaching it today.
That's right. Okay, so you guys, we must take a quick commercial break. But coming up, we will have Valencia Hill with us to talk about her experience as the executive director of Nia Association. So stay tuned. You're watching SKP.
You can help support Austin Peay students who don't have enough to eat by donating to the Save Our Students Food Pantry. The Save Our Students Food Pantry is looking for soup, pasta, canned meat, canned beans, peanut butter, and fruit. You can drop off your donations at the food pantry on Home Avenue. It's open Tuesdays through Friday, 8:30 until 4. For more information, call 221-1620, a campus reminder from Austin Peay.
I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee. Fort Knox, Kentucky. Jackson, Tennessee.
Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Gaffney, South Carolina. Seattle, Washington.
Jeremy, Haiti.
I'm from Três Pontas, Brazil.
Chicago, Illinois.
Hawaii.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Brazelton, Georgia.
From Modesto, California. I want to be a neonatal nurse.
Athletic trainer and accountant.
Playing the NFL.
Interior designer. Physical therapist.
Law enforcement officer.
Ultrasound technician.
Social worker.
Physician. Politician.
Psychologist.
CPA.
Be a social worker.
Nurse practitioner.
Physical therapist.
Restaurant owner.
A politician. Started my own business. Veterinarian.
Elementary school teacher.
NBA player.
Cardiovascular surgeon.
Anesthesiologist.
Businesswoman in Nashville.
Social worker in Miami, Florida.
Politician in Washington, D.C.
Colorado.
Orlando, Florida.
Houston, Texas.
In Chattanooga.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Seattle, Washington.
Nashville, Tennessee. San Diego, California.
Nashville, Tennessee.
New York City, New York.
San Diego, California.
Atlanta, Georgia. Nashville.
Los Angeles, California.
New York, New York.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Orlando, Florida.
Los Angeles, California.
Baltimore, Maryland. Clarksville, Tennessee.
Carolina Beach, Carolina. Philadelphia.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Corinne Harris, alongside with my co-host, Stephen Alexander. We have Ms. Valenica Hill from Nia Association here to share what their company does to support individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So how are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. You look beautiful, Bobby. Like she came like the queen. She's like, I'm here.
Thank you for coming.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
So can you give us a description of your job title?
I am Valencia Hill. I'm the Executive Director of Nia Association. The Executive Director, I just oversee the day-to-day functions of the office. I ensure that the agency stays in compliance with the DIDD, which is the Department of Intellectual Developmental Disability Services. So they're basically like our Bible. They give us policies and procedures that we have to ensure that we stay apprised upon those policies and procedures so we can provide the supports that the individuals need in the integrated community.
Okay.
So for those watching, can you tell us what exactly is the Nia Association and its purpose?
Awesome. Nia is actually, it means purpose in Swahili, and basically what we do is we take individuals with intellectual barriers, adults, from age productive adults.
Adults are from kids. So how do you assist adults differently than you would with kids?
We practice something that's called choice. Although the adults that we serve and support, their baseline is somewhat of a child. However, we definitely meet them as still as they're adults. So if they want to just drink, party, we don't let the barriers prohibit them from having that quality of life. So basically we come in and we just aid them and support them so they won't be at risk of what we call exploitation, and that's bribery, because it's some monsters that live among us, and we just keep them safe in that so they can just, again, be just productive citizens. We come inside of their homes, we aid them with their day-to-day needs, we transport them to and from appointments and just different leisure activities of their choice, and just help them just get to that next level of their lives.
Right. So as the executive director, in what ways do you make sure that they are engaged? If you get what I'm saying, because sometimes they might not be engaged. So how do you keep them engaged?
I keep them engrossed with everything that you and I may want to do. I offer them choices. Again, it's like, hey, do you want to go to a party? Do you want to go bowling? You know, putting them out there and just letting the community know, although they may look a little different or they may speak different, they may ambulate different than you and I, they're still people, they still have a purpose, and it's just our choice to just accept them, embrace them, and just keep them abreast with everything that goes on in the community, because they're people, they're welcome, they utilize the community just like all of us do.
I think that's what some people, seem to lack. They don't look at it as we all are humans.
Humans, right. Yes. And I want to know, like, how do you guys teach them that? Because I know sometimes they can pick up on that.
That
someone is mistreating them or talking about them. How do you guys encourage them that, look, you guys are people like anybody else? How do you guys instill that within them? And
just to elaborate off of what you said, energy is real. You know, our population are some of the most discerning individuals that you'll come through, so they automatically can sense if you care for them or if you have an interest in them. So they can go into behavior mode, because some of them can't speak, some of them sign, and some of them can verbalize. It's like, I don't like you. But just teaching them that they are somebody, getting them around advocacy groups where they can have a voice, just putting their face out there and letting the community know, hey, we're here, we utilize this population just like each of you do.
Right.
So just letting them know that they have a voice, that we don't silence our individual. Again, Nia means purpose, so we have to ensure every individual has a purpose.
That's really good.
That is good.
So on the website, it mentions the goal for Nia Association is to enhance the lifestyle of the individuals served in community efforts. What ways does the association work to reach this goal?
We partner with our local employers. We get them jobs. We partner with the local bus routes. We let them get them transits to get to and from the jobs. Again, just keeping them utilized, just embracing them and just taking them out, just giving them that exposure. You know, we dare to just go the extra mile, you know, places that you'd be like, oh, I don't know if they'll benefit from that. You don't know until you just at least attempt. So we enhance their lives just by attempting it. We've had individuals to go to the Bahamas. You know, some of our individuals that we come in contact with that doesn't have barriers, doesn't have a passport.
Right.
But, you know, just instilling in them to just go the extra mile.
You
It's
said
like
they go
this-
to the Bahamas? Oh. I need to go with y'all next time.
But we can all
Right,
take a trip.
the
We can
Bahamas.
all go.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's just that quality of life and just going above and beyond to just let them know you are somebody. You do have a life. You have a pulse.
Right.
You're here
Yeah.
for a reason. It may not be our reason, but that's why we're all different.
That's
so.
right. That's right. Yep.
So what kind of activities do you all have to keep the resident active? Do y'all have like annually activities that y'all have each year?
Yes, we participate in the Special Olympics. That's our annual activity. I keep my individuals engrossed with monthly activities. I have social peer groups where I get them all together and I give them a topic and they all get to expound upon that topic, you know, with their peers. People like them, people that's not like them, and we just go around the room and then we just compile data to see what we can do to make their lives better. Because ultimately we're here to serve and support them. We bowl, we go shopping, again we take overnight trips, again we go on cruises, we fly, we do whatever. The sky's the limit. So anything that you think you can do, that above and beyond, we ensure that our individuals get that same.
Well, if you ever need help with anything,
let us know.
Let SKP know.
So does the organization allow volunteers to come and support?
Absolutely. However, with our volunteers, because it is such a delicate population, we have to ensure that, you know, the population is so delicate that we do background checks and things of that nature because we have to keep our individuals free from abuse, neglect, and exploitation. But anybody is welcome. We have something that we call natural supports where you can just come in, and if you see an individual that you pair with, you come in and you just be like that big brother, big sister component to their lives.
Right. So you guys also accept donations.
We do.
In what ways do you guys take donations? How does that work?
We are a nonprofit organization, so we do accept monetary gifts. We accept time, because that's priceless. Just coming in and pairing with an individual that you can just pour into their lives and just teach them something as simple as tying their shoes. You may be able to reach them better than I can with tying their shoes. And it's just the small things, but monetary, clothes, coats, electronics, every individual has different likes and dislikes. So it's just a matter of what you have to give, and we'll definitely pair you with that individual so you can pour into them.
Okay.
So what would you say has been your biggest impact with working with these residents?
The biggest impact, just humility. Because some of the things that we take for granted, as simple as just tying our shoes, like that's a goal. It takes some of our individuals 12 months to get that, you know, so they're not just using Velcro shoes and things of that nature. So just humility, and I learn from them. They teach me every day to just be grateful and not take things for granted and just don't give up.
Well, Miss Valencia, we thank you so much for coming to the show. They tell us we got to wrap up. So, guys, we must take a commercial break. But when we return, we'll have DJ Pryor here with us. So stay tuned. You're watching SKP.
My name is Willadine Burton, and I'm a lifelong learner, and I aim to share my knowledge that I've gained over the years with those that I come in contact with, all humanity. I am now professor of biology, where I teach ecology and human anatomy at Austin Peay State University. I'm retired now, but that was a long, interesting, and rewarding career. So I've always had a passion for inspiring students because education is important, and I learned early on that education would open the doors for many, many opportunities. And because I had grown up and I've seen students who could have been greater than they were if they'd had the opportunity. So I've always wanted to share and inspire and motivate students to do the very best they can and get the greatest amount of education that they can also. I had a brain aneurysm in 2015, and it did affect the way I taught. For one thing, I felt a little incomplete because I couldn't speak and respond as quickly to questions that were asked and communicate with the students. I was uncomfortable taking my ecology students on field trip because the aneurysm also left me with an impaired eye, and so now that means that my balance is impaired as well. And so I just didn't feel comfortable teaching the students anymore. So I thought, well, I've been teaching for an awful long time, 26 years at Austin Peay, so maybe it's just time to retire and just let life take its course. I go back and I think about the day I had the aneurysm, the worst headache you ever had in your life, and you don't know what's happening to you. And then you go for your medical procedures, etc., and you go through all kinds of prodding and probing, and then they tell you how they're going to conduct the surgery. And you think about somebody's going to have a little microscope looking in my head with little bitty tubes, and they're going to be clipping this aneurysm, and just your imagination takes you to an unbelievable place. Well, for people who have experienced traumatic events, my advice to them would be to be thankful. And don't think about the negatives of what could have been, or just accept it as it is, and don't think about giving up. Just keep a positive attitude, focus on making progress, and work hard to be successful. And let every day be a day that you praise the Lord for the blessings that He has given to you.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Stephen Alexander, alongside with my co-host, Korean Harris. Our guest today is a Clarksville native who has took his career path into his own hands. He is currently one of 21 individuals selected for the 2019 CBS Diversity Sketch Comedy Showcase. Gosh, this man is busy. So we welcome DJ Pryor to the show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you today?
I'm good, man.
Good, good.
How about you?
Good. I'm good.
We're good.
Great.
We can't complain. We're living. We walking. We're talking.
I hear you.
We can go on and on.
Right.
But you know what? It's about you right now.
Right.
So can you tell us a little bit about your roots here in Clarksville, where you were born? Were you born and raised here?
I wasn't born in. I was raised here, but I wasn't born here. I was born in Virginia.
Okay.
I was born in Petersburg, Virginia, and then my dad was in the military. We got stationed here, and that's how I got here. So, and then I started doing my thing. I started doing stand-up comedy around 15, and got into this place called the Comedy Zone. Used to have on Fort Campbell Boulevard, and I used to sneak in there. So, yeah, I used to sneak in there, man, to get some stage time. And I told the guy, man, if I can, make you laugh, will you let me in here? It was the bouncer. And he let me get in there, man, and I was hooked ever since, man.
Wow.
Doing stand-up comedy, yeah.
So would you say that inspired you to become a comedian, or was it things in your past?
I think it was things in my past. It was definitely my life. The way I grew up, my mom had me when she was 13 years old. And I'm the oldest of 12 altogether. So naturally, like, things happened in my life that gave me material, you know what I'm saying? So I would say definitely it was the things that was going on in my life that inspired my stand-up, me getting into comedy.
Right. Okay, so this past January, you were a part of the CBS 2019 Diversity Sketch Comedy Club.
We don't have to talk about it.
No. This is
we don't have to talk about it, guys.
And it was a pool of 3,000 people.
It was, man. Some say more. It was, and
you were selected, what, 1 out of 21 people?
Yeah. So that was crazy.
What is that experience like for you?
It was great because they literally called my agent and said, hey, how can DJ get to, how quick can he get to Atlanta to audition? And I was like, now. I can go right now. And I went, and I didn't have much information on it. And I went in there, and when I went in there, I still didn't know what I was auditioning for. And then when I walked in, I saw this guy named Desi Banks. Really, known guy on the internet. I saw him walk out. I said, oh, this got to be something with comedy. Oh, man, I was, panicking for a minute. I was like, okay, I got to figure out something. And I just went in there, man, and I was doing, like, character work. And I was like, guys, I really don't do character work. I'm a stand-up comedian. They started reading my resume. And really, my audition was literally me sitting down, talking my stand-up. And after that, they were like, yeah, we like you. You got it. You know, because they like you to be real. They like you to be authentically yourself. And so that's what I was doing.
Would you say when you first came in there, were you trying to be somebody else at first? Or when you came in there, you were like, okay, I'm okay.
Well, I just, you know, because at first they kept telling me they wanted character work. So I was like, I didn't have anything. So I was like, I'm going to doing these characters, you know, doing stuff that I don't really do. And they like, yeah, you know, what is he doing? And I was like, I don't really do this, guys.
It's like, what's wrong with this?
Right, you know, and then I just started being myself. And when I started being myself, that's when it really just broke through. And that's how I got it.
Right.
Yeah, so it was amazing, man. It was an amazing process.
So how would you say this showcase has helped you in your professional career?
It put me in front of Hollywood. It let them see what I could do. It let them see what I can do, and a lot has grown from it. I've gotten a lot of things that's on the table now, different roles that I didn't have before this. So, and for, you know, CBS and other networks, you know, different things that are on the table that I'm trying out for right now. So it's amazing. That showcase. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And you're here with us today, little old SKP.
Oh, stop it, guys. Stop it. Look at this. Y'all got the set and everything.
Tennessee.
This is good, man.
You know, we coming up.
We coming up on a slow level.
But you know what? It's good that, you know, even though Clarksville may be so small, people may think good things don't come out of it. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You're like the perfect example.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's just, you know, just constant working. Keep trying to be the best version of yourself and growing, and that's what it's about.
I want to know, since you said in Hollywood, do you feel the pressure to be something that you're not in Hollywood? Or like, how do you deal with that? Because sometimes people get in Hollywood and they get that big old head. I'm in Hollywood.
Nah, that's why I tell people I live in LA and Clarksville. Yeah. So I come home, and I'm home for a couple of weeks, and then I go out to LA for a couple of weeks. And coming home, people just remind me, like, yo, take out that trash, man. Yeah, you still DJ here. Yeah. All right, funny man. Yeah, go take out the trash. You be Hollywood in Hollywood. You know what I mean? So coming back home always humbles me, and just being around people who don't have an agenda, just, you know, being around regular people, and that's what keeps me grounded.
I want that message to inspire some of our viewers out there, because you know, a lot of people, they forget where they come from.
They forget where they come from. Yeah, they switch up.
Yeah, and that's one thing, you know, I'm happy that has not happened to you, and that's one thing I don't want happen to us. You know, 'cause we are not better than anybody. You know, we all have the same 24 hours. So
exactly.
I want to know just exactly. Do you feel like you would have been more successful if you had stayed stagnant here in Clarksville, or since you had taken your own career path into your own hands, do you feel like that's helped you to become even more successful?
I think it was just a matter of just the work you put in. I think it's just a matter of work. I don't think it's location. I think it's the work. I think if you work in LA, or you work, I know plenty of people that's been in LA for years and still don't have anything going on. It's the work you put in. It's not the location. It's about your mindset and how you think about life and work in general. So I don't think it matters the location.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also want to ask you about the Next Level Youth Entrepreneur Expo.
Yes.
What is that about?
It's something that my good friend Shamika Dean is putting on to basically cultivate the entrepreneur in our youth, and she asked me to come and be the keynote speaker, and that is going on April 7th at 11 p.m. April 27th, I'm sorry.
Okay.
At 11 a.m. So it's gonna be a great event, and I'm glad that I'm able to speak and inspire and just encourage that to come out, because kids have dreams. I have a son. My oldest son is 8 years old, and my youngest is 1. So I want to put that in my kids. You know what I'm saying? That you can create and So yeah.
So do you have to have tickets also?
There is a site you can go on to Eventbrite that you can go on and get that information.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can follow me on all social media, comedian DJ Pryor, and I'll give you all that information.
Okay, well guys, we have to wrap up again.
Yes.
We have more questions for you, but we got to go. But you're welcome back anytime. Okay.
Thank you, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So we think. You know what?
You got it. You got it.
It's your birthday coming up. You
come on, brother.
Come on.
You guys, thanks for tuning in today to another episode of your favorite talk show, Stephen Career Perspectives. And we'll see you next week with more news and entertainment. And you can always catch us on YouTube under APSU-TV. See you next week with more news and entertainment. And always remember to,
let's go Peay.